Police Department, and I've been here for 25 years. So prior to becoming a police officer, I had some knowledge of narcotics just from my time in studying in college. I did study law enforcement. Justice studies was my major, so I did take some courses on narcotics. But then actually getting into the job as a police officer, and then kind of seeing how narcotics actually affect people at the street level, that was probably the biggest change, or I guess eye-opening experience for me. So I did have a little bit of a base of knowledge, but I would say that once I was hired onto the job, and then with some experience, really had a better understanding of how much narcotics affect people, and then how much of a problem it is, significance of a problem it is. Okay, so some of the challenges that we see in our community here are a lot of quality of life issues. Again, we're constantly dealing with issues involving speed, distracted driving, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing around the nation right now. So traffic enforcement is a big deal. We do see some issues with drug overdoses, and a lot of other really kind of minor property crimes. We do have some crimes against persons, but generally speaking, our crime index here is it's relatively low. So I think when we're talking about narcotics, we're seeing a lot of the same trends and issues nationwide. Are there some jurisdictions that are maybe more exposed or impacted by, let's say, the opioid crisis? Yes, but I think that narcotics are everywhere in our country, and I think it's our job as law enforcement to help educate people on the effects of narcotics, both positive and negative, particularly negative if they get into the wrong hands. But I think, generally speaking, what we see here in Batavia is very similar to what is seen around us and what's really seen around the nation. So narcotics stay in our facility, again, usually as long as the court system will allow us. In some felony cases, we may hold evidence up to 3 years, again, depending on the disposition of a court case. There are other cases where we may be able to get rid of medications or narcotics faster, depending on how quickly the case goes through the system. For misdemeanors, at least a year. And then any kind of found property or property that's turned into us that's not a part of the criminal case, as far as drugs and narcotics are concerned, we can usually get rid of that within a month, 2 months, 3 months. We don't like keeping that type of stuff in our evidence vault. There's obviously some risk involved with having that there. So the quicker we can dispose of narcotics and get them out of our possession, the better as well. So the Batavia Police Department, we are a part of the North Central Narcotics Task Force. It's a state task force. So we do have officers assigned to that task force. And what that does is it allows us to partner with some of our other communities here in the area. It allows us, rather than having to use 4 or 5 of our officers to form a task force, we're a little bit, I would consider us to be a medium-sized agency. So it allows us to be kind of a force multiplier with the other municipalities in our area to be able to combat narcotics, not just here in Batavia, but really in the region, because the issues aren't just bound by the borders of Batavia. These are issues that we're dealing with all around our region. So to be able to come together as a regional task force and to be able to address the issues on a wider perspective, I think, is the right strategy.